Here we are again with another late night edition of Sundry News. This is for Thursday, July 23rd, even though it is now after midnight, yes, but here we go anyway. Beginning with the Daily Wire. Woman shot dead after following community leaders' advice to settle disputes with rioters without police. And I had talked about this a couple of days ago when there was an article about it on the Daily Yahoo. The Daily Yahoo failed to include the fact that she was following said advice. And when I looked up more information on it that night, I did find that little bit of it, the little detail, but nothing that I looked at then included quite so much detail as this one does. Suffice it to say, this dude was definitely, this community leader, this president of the Brooklyn borough, definitely was trying to exclude the police. You know, definitely was trying to convince people that they don't need the police, when in actuality, clearly, you do. Okay, so for one thing, setting off fireworks illegally is not necessarily a non-violent thing, because fireworks are dangerous. Fireworks can be very violent. That's what I'm saying about that. Moving on. As U.S.-China relations disintegrate, top Democrat Nancy Pelosi declares it is the Trump virus. Why is she still in office? Who are these numbskulls that keep voting for that? Patricia McCloskey's gun, inoperable when taken by police, was reassembled later to make it lethal, report says. What? I thought they never were able to take her gun because her lawyer had her gun when they came to get the guy's gun. U.S. forces closure of Chinese consulate in Houston. Video shows classified documents being burned inside. It's always interesting when people feel the need to destroy their documents. Pfizer. Breaking. Trump admin secures up to 600 million coronavirus vaccine doses with Pfizer free to Americans. Well, all y'all go out there and get your vaccines. I'll be sitting right here and watching what happens. There's some ads. Lovely ads. Always the same ads. Next up, the Daily Yahoo. Teen who created petition calling out, of course it was a fucking teenager, calling out Trader Joe's racist ethnic food labels, says of course it was a female teenager, says she's glad she's opening up dialogue. The Trader Joe's branding is racist because it exoticizes other cultures. It presents Joe as the default normal, and the other characters falling outside of it, wrote Brianese Bedell. Oh my goodness. Okay. I need to know if that's actually how it is, or if that's just all made up in this chick's head. A California teenager is making waves with her petition asking for the removal of racially insensitive packaging at Trader Joe's. You know what? Every place, everywhere is exotic to somebody else. Just gonna say. 17 of San Francisco created a Change.org petition in early July calling for the grocery store chain to change how it labels its ethnic foods. Bedell names Trader Ming's, the store's Chinese food line, Arabian Joe, its Middle Eastern food line, and Trader Jose's, its Mexican food line, as some examples of the racist branding and packaging in stores. Okay. Trader Ming's. Arabian Joe, Trader Jose. I just... How does she... Does she just want it to be Trader Joe's Chinese, Trader Joe's Arabian, or Trader Joe's Middle Eastern, Trader Joe's Mexican? That would sound like cultural appropriation. The Trader Joe's branding is racist because it exoticizes other cultures. It presents Joe as the default normal, and the other characters falling outside of it. They are Arabian Joe, Trader Jose, and Trader Joe-san, Bedell's petition reads in part. Oh my goodness. You're in America. So here, Joe would be the normal one. The average American Joe. As of Wednesday, the petition has more than 3,800 signatures. Bedell tells Yahoo Life that she is surprised by the amount of attention it has received. I'm absolutely floored by the national media attention and impressed by the response. I'm glad this is on people's radars, she says. I've also gotten a lot of negative reactions, hate mail, but I'm glad I'm opening up dialogue. Bedell says she was inspired to create the petition after taking a class focused on human rights. Of course. It was a fucking class, which she credits as making her more aware of the cultural insensitivities around her, including at her local Trader Joe's store. I used to shop at Trader Joe's a fair amount, and all of a sudden I noticed the branding on their ethnic foods, she explains. When any community is not allowed the control of the representation, it leads the way for stereotypes and caricatures. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How does she know that none of these communities have had any control over the representation? You know, communities caricature themselves, like, all the time. The activist also had a problem with what influenced Trader Joe's founder, Joe Coulombe, to create the store. According to the company's website, Coulombe was inspired by the book White Shadows in the South Seas, along with the Disneyland Jungle Cruise ride. The first store, which opened in 1967 in Pasadena, California, had a nautical theme, and it was run by people who were described as traders on the high seas, the website says. Okay. Bedell argues White Shadows in the South Seas is racist, noting in her petition that the work demonstrates the horrific legacy of trading companies as they exploited and enslaved the South Pacific in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It perpetuates the myth of the white god and noble savage stereotype, but it also depicts trading companies and their ravaging of the South Seas in the early 20th century, she tells Yahoo Life, and I think it's problematic to list that as an inspiration for a grocery store. In addition, there is the Disneyland ride that depicts native people as savages. These two sources paired together, along with the insensitive branding, presents this questionable image of Trader Joe's as a brand. This is so insufferable. Problematic. The historical reality of the trade routes on the high seas as inspiration for a grocery store where the same sort of things that were being traded are sold now is problematic. Oh, and the native people depicted as savages. It's just... everybody sees other people as savages. What I'm saying is, to everybody, there are some other people who are savage. Bedell says that she is surprised that she has not yet heard from Trader Joe's since creating the petition. Good. Stay out of it, Trader Joe's. Stay far, far away from that. Yahoo Life reached out to Trader Joe's for comment and has not yet received a response. The company issued a statement to the New York Times acknowledging that the ethnic names were rooted in a light-hearted attempt at inclusiveness, but that they recognize that it may now have the opposite effect. Yeah, because all your customers are super racist now. One that is contrary to the welcoming, rewarding customer experience we strive to create every day. Stop acknowledging. Just don't. Don't give any relevance. Don't give any credence to this shit. Just don't. Recognize that now, it may now have the opposite effect. Yes. Like I just said, that's because all of your customers and whoever looks at this fucking petition and signs it, they're all so much more racist than they used to be. They also went on to say that several years ago they decided to no longer use the names moving forward. Several years ago. Bedell noted that the company gave a similar statement to Nylon in 2019, but she's not satisfied with Trader Joe's response thus far. They lack the urgency needed to remedy a controversy like this one in the current climate, she says. These labels are microaggressions, and the issue with microaggressions is that they inevitably escalate, and when we accept this baseline level of racism, it leads to larger transgressions down the road. Several years ago, they decided to no longer use the names. Is she certain that the names are in use in the store right now? Bedell says she hopes to continue to get more signatures and that Trader Joe's commits to a date when it will phase out the problematic packaging. If they cannot, it should then remove the products in question altogether. Oh, I'm sure. I hate this fucking shit. Portland protests. Chad Wolf says federal forces will not retreat and rejects anger at stormtroopers. Stormtroopers. Acting Homeland Security Chief Chad Wolf said yesterday that federal law enforcement officers in Portland will not retreat. Yeah, because they're just defending their fucking buildings. The federal buildings. Even as criticism of their deployment rose to a new pitch and protesters flooded the streets in increasing numbers. Mr. Wolf spoke just as a leaked Homeland Security did something. And recently, I believe it was in Portland, the mayor of Portland came out and was with the rioters participating. Super professional. Safety Jamal Adams calls out Jets team owner Woody Johnson after allegations of racist comments. Jamal Adams wants change within the Jets because of allegations. She went missing in '96. Now the case is solved. A podcast pointed on new leads in Kristen Smart's missing case. The cops reopened the investigation. From Fresh Edits. Washington Post editorial board puts Senate GOP on notice over coronavirus relief. The GOP is out of time, the newspaper's board warned in its latest op-ed. Because it's the right that has been difficult over all of this. Sure. Nepal's refiners struggle as India stops refined palm oil imports. Edible oil refiners in Nepal have all but stopped buying crude palm oil amid surging domestic stockpiles after top buyer India suspended most imports of refined oil from the country, industry officials told Reuters. New Delhi in May suspended 39 oil import licenses. That's not how you spell that. Biden claims Trump is the first racist president. From HuffPost, former Vice President Joe Biden said that President Trump is the first racist person to be elected to the Oval Office. He's wrong. Oh, HuffPost, tell us all about it. No, not really. I'm not clicking on that. Unleash the power of your computer. Get rid of the clutter that's slowing your computer down. Clean up and speed up your PC for free with System Mechanic from Yahoo. But there's an asterisk by free, so I'm guessing it's not actually free. What's hot? Oh, it's Yahoo Search. Trending now, MLB opening day. Sofia Vergara. Coronavirus, always at number 3. Everything else can change, but coronavirus has to stay right there at number 3. That is completely believable. TikTok. Again, TikTok with the C's instead of the K's. AARP Insurance. Itchy Dog Treatments. Christina Vidal. Larsa Pippen. Michael Douglas. Truck Seat Covers. Okay. Goodbye, Yahoo. Good riddance, Yahoo. Last of all, we have 1440 in partnership with something that I can... Oh, that's the Motley Fool. I can see it. It's the Motley Fool. In partnership with the Motley Fool. Good morning. It's Thursday, July 23rd, and we're looking forward to watching some professional baseball tonight. Need to know. Major League Baseball returns. The 2020 Major League Baseball season gets underway tonight, 4 months after opening day was scrubbed by the then-emerging coronavirus panic. The league, the second biggest in the U.S. by revenue, will use a truncated 60-game regular season followed by the conventional playoff format. The World Series will begin October 20th, a similar time frame as recent years. First up, defending champion Washington Nationals host the New York Yankees, which was at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN earlier this evening. Dr. Anthony Fauci will throw out the first pitch, followed by the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN. Tonight's late game will feature a milestone when the Giants' Alyssa Nakken becomes the first female to coach on field in a regular season MLB game. Oh, good for her. I'm sure she earned it. The rest of the league begins tomorrow. See the full schedule here. The Dodgers enter the shortened season as favorites to win the World Series, 15-4 odds, followed by the Yankees 4-1, Houston Astros 8-1, and Atlanta Braves 13-1. The stands will be empty, but fans will reportedly be able to boo via app, which will be piped in through stadium loudspeakers. Oh, that's lovely. Operation Diligent Valor. Portland, Oregon Mayor Ted Wheeler was part of crowds tear-gassed by federal agents last night as protests continued in the city for the 56th consecutive day. Officials say gas was fired after some protesters began to throw objects at officers. The news follows a revelation that the federal government has assembled at least 114 non-military federal agents, mostly Immigration and Border Patrol officers, to protect federal property. Protect federal property in the city under the banner of Operation Diligent Valor. The federal presence in the city has increasingly become the central focus of the demonstrations. On their federal property. Agency officials say, and the mayor was there with protesters who were throwing things. That turns them into rioters. Very professional, Mr. Mayor. Agency officials say federal buildings have been under attack by groups of violent protesters, including a fire set at a federal courthouse July 3rd. Critics say the group has no training in riot control or de-escalation techniques, an assertion confirmed by a federal memo. Yeah, these fuckers don't deserve any sort of nice de-escalation. For one thing, I seriously doubt that they would give in to any sort of de-escalation techniques. They're not going to respond to that. They're only going to respond to force. and that unmarked agents have been detaining citizens without cause. Oh, without cause. That's rich. The city has called for the agents to leave, Homeland Security, to leave their federal property. Homeland Security Chief Chad Wolf has refused. Within the demonstrations, one group has stood out, a self-described wall of moms. Alleged moms, because they're wearing shirts that say mommy on them. In related news, President Trump yesterday said he would send federal agents to Chicago and Albuquerque, New Mexico, though they will reportedly be used to help combat violent crime, as opposed to quell protests. Yeah, well, you know what? These fucking protests are violent crime, because they're not peaceful protests. They're riots. They're violent. U.S. locks in potential vaccine doses. Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer and partner BioNTech inked a nearly $2 billion deal with the U.S. government yesterday, guaranteeing delivery of a coronavirus vaccine still under development. Preliminary data earlier this week showed that potential vaccine prompted an immune system response in a small group of healthy volunteers, and a large-scale study is expected to begin this month. The funding will go toward manufacturing and scaling up of the drug, assuming it is proven safe and effective, and an initial order of 100 million doses. The government has the option to secure another 500 million doses. Company executives say the vaccine may be ready for final regulatory approval by the end of the year, and officials signaled doses would be free for Americans, but didn't specify who would be first in line to receive the treatments. Definitely not me, or my family. The drug is one of 4 that has passed early safety trials and moved on to testing in humans. Check the status of all vaccines here. Separately, Ohio, Minnesota, and Washington, D.C. all issued mandates to wear face masks in public. The U.S. has reported 3.97 million total cases as of this morning, with 143,190 total deaths. Allegedly. See how your state is doing here. A message from our CEO, the Motley Fool. Hi there, Tim here, 1440 CEO. For today's sponsorship, we're going to try something a little different. Our editorial team has heard me ramble on about how much I love Motley Fool Stock Advisor, so they asked me to put pen to paper. Here goes nothing. I've been a Stock Advisor member for years, and the return on investment is one of the highest I've seen on any investing service. Their strategy, investing in game-changing, long-term growth companies with visionary leadership, has yielded incredible returns in my personal portfolio. You can check their history of stock picks back to 2002 and see how forward-thinking their investing team is, with recommendations like Costco, eBay, Amazon, Netflix, Tesla, and my personal absolute favorite e-commerce platform Shopify, which was first recommended at $32 and, at time of writing, now trades above $900. Our lawyers want me to remind our readers this is not financial advice, and all readers should make independently informed financial decisions. Without question, though, Stock Advisor is my favorite investing tool, and their co-founder, David, recently announced a stock that could be like buying Amazon in 1997. Check it out here. Disclaimer. Members of 1440's leadership own shares of Amazon, Tesla, and Shopify. John Mackey, CEO of Whole Foods Market, an Amazon subsidiary, is a member of the Motley Fool's board of directors. The Motley Fool owns shares of Amazon, Match Group, Inc., Netflix, Shopify, and Tesla. The Motley Fool has a disclosure policy. Returns as of 7/13/2020. Please support our sponsors. In the know. Sports, entertainment, and culture. The New York Times taps Meredith Kopit Levian as new CEO, promoting her from current role of Chief Operating Officer. New York Times acquires production company behind popular podcast series Serial. Fans will be required to wear face masks at NFL games this season. NFL and Players Union reportedly agree to cancel preseason games. Boo. Cowards. Annie Ross, Grammy-winning jazz singer and actress, dies at 89. Charles Evers, civil rights leader and brother of Medgar Evers, dies at 97. science and technology. Excuse me. Twitter to crack down on viral QAnon conspiracy posts, saying it has banned 7,000 accounts. Company says the actions will keep related links from appearing in trending topics and platform searches. A look at the conspiracy theory. So, censoring. Very, very real censoring. Controversial cave discovery in central Mexico suggests humans may have reached the Americas 30,000 years ago, about 15,000 years earlier than previously thought. Venus. Oh, I need to go to bed. Venus has dozens of dormant but still active volcanoes on its surface. Study implies the planet's interior is still churning. China launches its second attempt at a Mars mission today. Business and markets. Brought to you by The Ascent. Existing U.S. home sales jumped 20.7% in June, largest monthly gain on record. Communication platform Slack files competition complaint against Microsoft with European Commission, alleges tying Teams product into Office Suite is anti-competitive. Famed investor Bill Ackman raises $4 billion SPAC, Special Purpose Acquisition Company, to purchase a mature unicorn. A unicorn is a company that's worth $1 billion. What makes it mature? Earnings season. Tesla reports fourth consecutive quarterly profit to open U.S. Gigafactory in Austin, Texas. Las Vegas Sands Casino Group reports 97% drop in quarterly revenues. Sad. Chipotle triples digital sales, but sees same-store sales down 9.8% for quarter amid panic. Need a breather from credit card interest? This card offers a market-topping 0% APR for 18 months on balance transfers, along with one of the highest unlimited cashback rates for every purchase, all with no annual fee. Politics and world affairs. Hurricane Douglas, the first of the season in the Eastern Pacific, strengthens into Category 2 hurricane. Will pass over Hawaii Monday. Tropical storm Gonzalo in the Atlantic. Expected to strengthen into a hurricane today. Report finds UK officials failed to respond adequately to widespread Russian interference in the country's politics, including attempts to influence Brexit outcomes. See key points here. So, Russia in the UK, huh? New report alleges Representative Matt Gaetz, a Republican, Florida, violated House ethics rules, including using taxpayer funding to build a television studio in his father's house. House votes to remove Confederate statues from Capitol. Bill faces opposition in Senate. So, when are we going to see the report on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez using taxpayer money to pay her boyfriend to be her boyfriend? In depth. Dispatches from 1918 from Radiolab podcast. With World War I raging in the background, the 1918 flu had trouble breaking through contemporary news coverage. Take a fascinating look at the aftermath of the pandemic and how the U.S. changed forever. USC's Heartthrob Prince from LA Times. The riveting true story of a Qatari sheik that came to the U.S. to study, only to live a lifestyle so lavish it blew away the astronomical norms of Los Angeles. With a small economy springing up around him, at least one local university became very accommodating. Early bird gets the worm. Tim here again. One of my highlights of each month is to review the Stock Advisor picks every third Thursday to see what new companies and industries co-founders David and Tom have unearthed. I have a reminder in my calendar so I don't miss the email. Today we're highlighting a report that David recently released covering a stock that could be like buying Amazon in 1997. It's already up 882% at time of writing since David first recommended it, and he believes it's got plenty of room to grow. This report is only available to members, so get it now by signing up for Motley Fool's Stock Advisor today. Thanks for the support, Tim. Please support our sponsors, etc. MIT demonstrates the power of deepfakes with this footage of President Nixon announcing a moon mission disaster. Okay. Feeling lost in all the COVID-19 stats? Here's how to read them. All you really need to know, honestly, all you really need to know is that the survival rate is over 99%. That should really be all that matters. Visualizing how remote work divides America. These award-winning photos celebrate the art of movement. Children's animal drawings turned into terrifying reality. Long-haul truckers rank America's most beautiful drives. Ukraine hostage situation ends after the president plugs a Joaquin Phoenix film. Okay. Bear casually blasts through the door of a Lake Tahoe cabin. Maybe he thinks he's the Kool-Aid man. And he's all like, oh yeah. Clickbait. Meatball sub fails student taking online exam. Okay. History book. Rest in peace, Ulysses S. Grant, 1885. And rest in peace to his statue, 2020. That wasn't today, though. Well, who knows? It could have happened today, too, if there were any left. 43 killed, more than 1,000 injured in Detroit riot, 1967. Hale-Bopp comet is discovered, 1995. Rest in peace, Amy Winehouse, 2011. Rest in peace, Sally Ride, the first American woman in space, 2012. All adventures, especially into new territory, are scary. Sally Ride. And that's it for Sundry News for tonight, this evening. Thank you, and goodbye.